it's Sarah, and I'm back with another book review for this month. Now, today is going to be another manga review, as it is May, which is Asian Heritage Month, and I think it will be really fun to discuss another of my absolute favorite manga series that are available at Smithville for the West Lincoln Public Library's collection. Today we're going to be discussing a series called Jujutsu Kaisen, written by Gege Akutami. Now, this particular series is incredibly popular worldwide, the anime especially. I would be surprised if somebody hasn't heard of it, or at least a family member that might be into anime or manga will tell you all about how absolutely phenomenal this series is. If you are into ghosts, the paranormal, fantasy, some absolutely incredible action sequences, and some really gut-wrenching betrayals, this is a phenomenal series for you. Now, it is rated teen because there is some pretty decent action in it, and along with that does come a bit of fighting and violence, so just bearing that in mind. This particular series is one of my favorites, not only because it has some real heart written to it and the characters are phenomenal. I really love the unexpected plot twist that this storyline has brought with it, as its many volumes have progressed over the years. And honestly, every time I think I have something sorted or worked out, I'm usually wrong. And not in a frustrating sense that it doesn't make any sort of actual reasonable sense. More in the sense that this world is ever changing. And to assume you have it all figured out, you're assuming incorrectly. So before I get too deep into much later down the road sort of stuff, I'll start at the beginning. This is a boy named Yuji Itadori. And while he might look like your average teenager, dealing with all the usual comes and goes that deal with high school, his intense physical strength makes him stand out among all of his peers and his classmates. And even though he has been doggedly pursued by a lot of the physical education teachers in his classes and whatnot, he isn't interested in any of that. He would really rather just chill out and spend time with his fellow members in the Occult Research Club, which are solely 2 other people, but that's fine. He is currently dealing with the loss of his grandfather, with whom he lived for a very long time. His parents are not in the picture. And one night, his fellow Occult Research Club members tell him they're going to look into this really creepy old artifact that apparently is on the school grounds. He's going to go assist with that until he runs into a fellow named Megumi, who is this dark-haired guy, and basically tells him, I'm on the look for this really dangerous artifact. It has a lot of cursed energy that goes along with it, and he thinks he's crazy. Itadori, he has absolutely no idea what this guy is on. And this fellow introduces himself as a jujutsu sorcerer, someone whose job it is to exorcise spirits and remove cursed energy from the world. Cursed energy which is formed by an intense concentration of negative thought energy. So not ghosts per se, more like how an old building is considered really haunted. Those negative thoughts that are associated with the building create negative energy and therefore can create cursed spirits. And a person can also become a cursed spirit if there is a strong, intense negative energy around their death, and it can corrupt their soul, or so to speak. When they fail to retrieve the cursed artifact before the other Occult Research Club members can open it, it results in one of their friends almost being attacked and being killed by the spirit that is unleashed before Megumi is able to stop it. And we find out that this particular artifact is actually one of many fingers by one of the most infamous curses in all of history, Ryomen Sukuna, who used to be an absolutely brilliant sorcerer, incredibly powerful, before he basically turned evil many hundreds of years ago. He was so powerful that when he died, his fingers became cursed artifacts, and he did not just have 10. No, he had far more than that, actually. Basically, there are so many of these fingers. I believe off the top of my head, it's 20, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had 4. Yes, I think if I'm remembering correctly, he had 4 arms, so he had 20 fingers. These act as amplifiers for cursed spirits, and when they come in contact with a person, they can either be corrupted or the spirit can become infinitely more powerful. And these artifacts were so strong they couldn't destroy them. So they had no choice, the Jujutsu sorcerers, but to basically hide them away and hoping that no one would find them. Now, faced with an enemy that they cannot defeat after he ingests this particular finger, Megumi is accepting that he might die here trying to save these kids, when Itadori decides to do something unexpected. He eats the finger in hoping to gain strength so that he can defeat the spirit they unleashed on the school and save everyone's lives. It is successful in the sense that he does grow stronger. The unfortunate side effect is that he becomes possessed by the spirit of Ryomen Sukuna, who wishes to literally just level the world and everyone in it. He has a particular irritation for Jujutsu sorcerers, as you might imagine. However, the other unexpected side effect is Itadori can actually control Sukuna. He is not basically completely possessed. He can choose when Sukuna takes over and he can force him out of his body at will. And upon finding this, their battle is interrupted by Megumi's teacher, a guy named Gojo, Sensei Gojo, who is probably one of my favorite characters in the entire series. Upon finding this out, they first of all determine that Itadori, despite doing this for the greater good and hoping to save lives, is too dangerous to be kept alive, and they sentence him to death. So they kidnap him and they bring him back to the Jujutsu High, which is a school that teaches and trains Jujutsu sorcerers, which is also where most of the High Council for the Jujutsu world are located. Gojo, seeing potential in Itadori, convinces the council that they should actually delay his execution, and they give him a task. They have to try and find all of the fingers of Ryomen Sukuna and slowly over time feed them to Itadori. And they're going to watch to make sure that he doesn't lose the ability to control Sukuna as he does this, but once all of the fingers are gone off this world, then they're going to kill him. Therefore, removing all of these terrible cursed artifacts, but also removing the only living vessel that is capable of housing Ryomen Sukuna. Because once all of those artifacts are gone, so is he from this world. And Itadori accepts, because the only other option is he be put to death now. So, hoping that he will be able to make a difference that will help people, he agrees to study Jujutsu sorcery. He makes friends at this school, and he goes forward with his training to basically hone himself and his abilities to harness dark energy. It is an absolutely fantastic story of friendship and camaraderie and loyalty, but also dealing with grief and loss and not knowing really who you are until your back is against the wall. The art is absolutely beautiful. I adore the art style. It is gritty, and it is no holds barred. You feel every ounce of pain that every wound is inflicted on these characters, and it hurts. It really hurts. I cannot say that this series has not made me cry multiple times. That is volume 1. If you are potentially someone that likes a good prologue, there is actually also available volume 0, in which we learn about the arguably strongest Jujutsu sorcerer at Jujutsu High, a guy by the name of Yuta Okotsu. And he is, again, your average high schooler, except he is being haunted by one of the most powerful curses that has ever existed. And it's actually one of his childhood friends, Rika, who died at a young age and has latched on to him ever since. I won't go too deeply into that one, but his story is also deeply ingrained with Itadori's. So you do not need to read this one first before the first volume, but it is still fun. You can read this one definitely after you read volume 1. Don't worry about it. They were published at different times. This one came out a year or something after this one, so don't worry, not necessary. But I loved both of them. They are a fantastic start. I highly recommend you check them out for Asian Heritage Month in May this time. And any manga that we have, I will be happy to go more into depth for you if that is something you're interested in. We've got lots, and I adore all of the series that we have. So Thank you so much for watching my latest review. I hope you decide to pick up a manga for Asian Heritage Month, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.